Hey everybody, Billy Bob here. Welcome to Tuesday's Monday Morning Quarterback NFL edition. And here we are in the dog pound. Hey, by the way, check it out. I was thinking, I looked a little like Bob Golick. You remember Bob Golick? Born in Cleveland, Ohio, went to Notre Dame, played for the Brownies, number 79. It was like, got the beard, I got some hair, like Crazy Bob. Okay. No, Mom. Hey, Mrs. Billy Bob, she said she would be quiet. Nobody here. Then she perks up, talking about my hair. Oh, boy. See what I put up with? And she's the executive producer, so I have to put up with it. She pays me. I guess she doesn't pay me. Hey, so let's get to it. 40th anniversary of the Dog Pound, the creation of the Dog Pound. So just for context, for you that don't remember, Hanford Dixon, Frank Minifield, they created the Dog Pound by when they'd make a big play as cornerbacks for the Brownies. They would go to each other and they'd jump up and they'd woof, 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 bark, and hence the Dog Pound was created. And what's the big guy, number 98, in the end zone? John Thompson? Was that his name, John Thompson? I'm sure somebody will know. Somebody will tell me. Tom Smith, Dog Pounder himself. Let's see here. We got a lot to talk about. So pull up a chair, pop a squat, and you don't have to take notes because you can watch this over and over. Then you can stop it. So just go right through the first time. Focus. Stay focused. All right, here we go. Let's see. Where's my clicker? So Brownies win. That's what we're going to talk about first because that's what I am, a Browns fan. Right? Right. Browns win 13-10. They scored all 13 points in the fourth quarter. Touchdown by Quinshon Judkins and a 55-yard field goal. He's redeemed himself for the time being. Andre Szymit. Now, I would pronounce it Zimit, but I'm looking at the pronunciation S-H-M-I-T. Szymit. Now, that could be Zimit, I guess, but I didn't know anything about this guy. So he's from Illinois originally. He went to Syracuse. He was a Lou Groza Award winner in 2018. That's kind of ironic, right? He's in the pound. But he played for the Chicago Bears, undrafted free agent. And then he played for the St. Louis Battlehawks of the UFL. And then he signed with the Browns. Of course, we cut Dustin Hopkins in lieu of Szymit. And 55-yard field goal as time expired. Why did I say he redeemed himself? Because in game one against the Bengals, which we lost by a point, right, 17-16, he missed an extra point, and he missed a field goal as time expired to win the game. So, good for him. Cheers. It's Tuesday. Drinking a little coffee, a little agua, I'm on a new kick here. Try to behave as long as I'm not ootin' a boot. So let's take a look real quick because the Browns defense, they held the Packers, who were undefeated. They come in 2-0, held the Packers to 10 points. Jordan Love, 18 of 25, 183 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They sacked him 5 times. They were relentless. Now, Browns, Flacco, 21 of 36, 142, 1 interception, got sacked twice. Look, Joe was not the story of the game. If he was a story, it was a story of lack of productivity. But, he's running around. He was missing offensive linemen. Bitonio is out. They put DeJuan Jones on the left side. That wasn't working. They moved him over to the right side. Goes out, season-ending knee injury, right? So now we're down 2 offensive linemen at least, and they're still going at it. They're still working it. Defense is still on it. Grant Delpit had an interception in the game. So that's what I got there. So Szymit was 2 for 2 And again, the game winner, 55 yards. Look, the Browns, we are very critical of the Browns for their drafts over the years, right? More predominantly or primarily about quarterbacks, but they're probably got a bunch of misses, maybe more misses than wins. But let's look at the rookies this year. All right, we got Mason Graham, contributed already. Carson Schlesinger, big-time contributors so far. Harold Fannin Jr., tight end, big-time contributor this year. Quinshawn Judkins had a little issue, back now for his second game. 18 carries, 94 yards, a touchdown, big contributor. And then contributor on a little lesser level, Isaiah Bond, undrafted free agent out of Texas, contributor, right? Anything more about the Browns? Well, we're going to play Detroit this week in Detroit. That's a challenge. Hey, you know, it's a big challenge. This is off script, off topic, but the Minnesota Vikings are going to Europe. Now, the Browns play them next week in Europe, in England, but the Vikings are playing this week in Dublin, Steelers, I believe, and then they stay in Europe and play the Browns next week in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in England. More to come. Let's see. What did I want to talk about next? We'll talk about the games as we go. Let's talk about the injury report. There are a lot of guys hurt in week 3. By the way, Bob, hey, thanks, Bob. I got a message from Bob this morning. He's like, hey, I enjoy your Monday morning quarterback videos. I appreciate it. Yesterday, I didn't work as hard. Today, I worked really hard. I worked like a couple plus hours putting this whole thing together, try and condense it into about less than 20 minutes if I can. And I was going to take a little break, go sit down, maybe watch a little Law and Order, a little SWAT, something for a little bit, relax my mind. And then I'm like, oh, I just did all this stuff. I just looked it up. It's fresh in my mind. Let's get her done. Get her done. So, all right, injuries. Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb, ankle injury, month, high sprain, high ankle. Cardinals, James Conner, I don't know if you saw that. The leg got twisted way back underneath him, out for the year. Chargers, Najee Harris, non-contact injury, out for the year. Achilles. That kind of, forget it. Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Evans, they're already without Chris Godwin. Emeka Ibuka's a little banged up. Evans, a hammy, going to be out for a few weeks, maybe a month. That happened to him last year, too. Got to stretch them hammies out there, Mike. Let's get her. Injury prone, Nick Bosa, Niners. Knee injury, out for the year. Commanders, Terry McLaurin, quad injury, don't know how long. And then Eagles, Lane Johnson, neck injury, stinger. And here we go. Dallas already had lost 2 key players. Trevon Diggs with a shoulder, Kenny Clark with an ankle. Bears rookie Colston Loveland out with an ankle or a hip injury. Texans, Darryl Stingley Jr., oblique. Marshawn Lattimore, concussion protocol. Trey Amos, calf injury. Bengals already struggling in their offensive line. They lose another guy. Right guard Dalton Risner to a calf injury. Told you the Browns lost DeJuan Jones. Actually, they didn't lose. It wasn't Bitonio who was out. He played. It was Jack Conklin. My bad. Indianapolis, cornerback Kenny Moore, calf. Jaguars, wide receiver Denami Brown, shoulder. Mike Mayer, tight end for the Raiders. Well, the good news is they got Brock Bowers. So Michael Mayer, Notre Dame dude, concussion. Chargers, Mekhi Burton, concussion. Giants, Graham Gano. Do they need a field goal kicker? They got to score a touchdown before, Groin injury before the game. Oops, that'll hurt you. And then the Jets, the highest paid cornerback, I believe, in football, Sauce Gardner from the University of Cincinnati, out in the third quarter after concussion. So that's your injury update. I mean, anybody can just read you scores. I'm giving you substance here. All right, let's look at this. The NFL has 6 undefeated teams. 6 teams, 3-0. I thought, okay, cool. 6 teams, 3-0. Let me take a look at something here. Let's look at the record of the teams, the combined record of the teams they played against, right? All right, here we go. Buffalo Bills played the Ravens, Jets, and Dolphins. Combined 1-8. Colts, Dolphins, Broncos, Titans, 1-8. Eagles, Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, 4-5. Bucks, Falcons, Texans, Jets, 1-5. Are we getting a theme here? The Jets? Well, only in those. Bucks, did I say 1-5? Falcons, Texans, Jets, 1-8. I think I misspoke. Niners, Seahawks, Saints, Cardinals, combined 4-5. And finally, the Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, ironically, all in their division, 3-6. So, there is not one of these teams that are undefeated that played the combined teams with a combined record of over 500. In fact, 3 of them played combined records of 1-8, 2 4-5s, and a 3-6. All right, that's that. Now let's look at their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that conversely are 0-3. What do I got? There we go. All right. The New Orleans Saints, the New York Giants, the New York Jets, the Miami Dolphins, the Houston Texans, the Titans. That's it. 0-3. Right? Let's see what else we got here. Aha! You know I was going to do this. Excuse me. Don't have a cough button. Ohio State wide receivers. I like to give an update every week. As you know, I'm also a Buckeye fan. But here we go. Ohio State wide receivers, week 3. Garrett Wilson, 10 catches, 84 yards, and I believe he had 1 touchdown. Yes, 1 touchdown. Terry McLaurin, Commanders, Redskins, 3 catches, 74 yards. Emeka Egbuka, 6 catches, 85 yards. Had the one-hand catch down the sidelines. I know one-handers are becoming more commonplace in today's world. Still looks pretty damn good when he does it, because if he would have tried for 2 hands, he wouldn't have caught it. It was just too far out there. Chris Olave, 10 catches, 57 yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 5 catches, 96 yards and a touchdown. And Marvin Harrison Jr., 3 catches, 44 yards. Bobby G, the Bobby G clan, he texted me this morning. He said, what's wrong with Marvin Harrison Jr.? Is it him? Is it his quarterback? Is it a little bit of both? And I said, I don't know. I'm not sure. There's some that would say that Marvin takes a play off here or there. I can't tell you. I haven't watched enough of MHJ to know what the challenge is here. But obviously, that wasn't the worst. 3 catches, but last week he had 2. So, he was the number 1 draft pick. So you would think he'd be contributing a little more than that. What else? Okay, I guess we got to get to the wrap. Oh, by the way, Jackson Dart's starting for the Giants this week. If I didn't mention that, Russell Wilson's hitting the pine. Well, now it's just plastic, PVC. But, I guess it's been long gone since they had wood benches for the players, right? Let's see. Here we go. Let me see here. Bills, Dolphins. Yeah, that was Thursday night game. I don't have much to report. The Dolphins lose. They go to 0-3. Mike McDaniel may not be around much longer. Carolina Panthers, 30-0 over Falcons. Both quarterbacks are number 9. Both quarterbacks are first-round picks. Bet you didn't know that, did you? Penix, 1836, 2 INTs, averaged 4.8 yards of completion. Bryce Young, 16 of 24, 5 yards of completion. Come on, guys, you got to get the ball down the field. No dinking and dunking. I guess Falcons need to get it down the field a little more than the Panthers, right? Browns, we talked about that. Jaguars over the Texans, 17-10. Trevor Lawrence, 20 out of 40 with a pick. And Stroud, 25 out of 38. Not the worst, but 1 TD, 2 picks. What is going on? I said the same thing last week. What is going on with C.J. Stroud? Used to be the most accurate kid in college. I don't know if it's his offensive line or he can't see. I have no freaking idea. Let's see. They were both 4 of 15 on third down. We know that's a problem, don't we? And let's see here. Oh, Vikings-Bengals. Really, I only had a couple things to say, but then I added, it's like 34-3 at the half. I feel your pain. Remember Bill Clinton? I feel your pain. But, the Bengals, they're 2-1, so better to have an ugly loss and be 2-1 than be 1-2 or 0-3 like some of these guys. But the reality is the Bengals been outscored 58-91 in those 3 games. So let's see. Steelers, Patriots. Not a lot. I didn't believe me, folks. I tell you, I don't watch all these games. I can't. I got to pay some attention to Mrs. Billy Bob. Otherwise, she'll what? Slap me. I was going to use an old term, but that wouldn't work. Steelers forced 5 turnovers, 1 interception, 4 fumbles. Patriots got to get it together. Vrabel can't be happy. Eagles, Rams, interesting game. Eagles blocked 2 field goal attempts by the Rams in the fourth quarter. One by Jalen Carter. The Jordan Davis one, 336-pounder running. I guess they clocked him at 18.59 miles an hour. That's a big boy running fast. And by the way, the Rams were winning 26-7, and the Eagles scored 4 straight touchdowns, 28 unanswered points. Tampa Bay Bucks, their best start in 20 years at 3-0. You know what's crazy about this? So they had a 36-yard field goal. I mean, I think they've won every game as time expired, or with 5-6. One they scored, I think, was 6 seconds ago, a touchdown. Anyway, here's the crazy thing in this game. Penalties. Combined 21 penalties for 205 yards. 14 of those penalties were by Tampa Bay, and they still win the game, right? Tampa Bay had a pick 6. The Jets had another blocked field goal. Jets blocked field goal for a touchdown. Tampa Bay pulls it out. Colts. What's going on with the Colts? 41-20. Well, they're playing the hapless Titans. What did I say? The Titans are 0-3, and did I say the Colts are 3-0, right? So, but their combined win total for the opponents 1-8. Anyway, Daniel Jones is reinvigorated with the Colts. 18 out of 25 with a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, former Wisconsin Badger, 3 TDs. Commanders 41-24 over the Raiders. This game was 41-17 with 2 minutes to go. The Raiders score, a late touchdown. No way they're catching up. Geno Smith, the Raiders, I don't get it. Geno Smith had a pretty good game, 19-29, 289 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he was sacked 5 times, but he didn't turn the ball over. Let's see, late window, as they call it, late window. Chargers, Broncos, who cares? Chargers, who cares? But then I wrote something down. Chargers actually, 43-yard field goal as time expired, and they scored the last 10 points of the game. Oh, Seattle and New Orleans. I didn't write anything down, so you're going to have to look that one up on your own, folks. Bears, the Bears. Buddy Brian, he missed me at Pops. He texted me, "Where were you? What the hell?" I was like, dude, you didn't know if you were going. Didn't know. So we took the weekend off. Caleb Downs, yeah. Caleb Williams, 19-28, 4 touchdowns. On the opposite side, Dak, as in Prescott, 31-40, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Cowboys also fumbled the ball one time. And they brought in Joe Milton III. You remember Joe Milton III from University of Tennessee? Then did he transfer in his last year? Maybe. I don't remember. I think he did. He had 1 pick. So overall, Cowboys 2 picks. Niners, Cardinals. I didn't make any notes on that one either. 16-15. Obviously close. I told you Niners lost Nick Bosa for the year. Chiefs, Giants. You know what? The Chiefs, the Giants, and the Browns all had something in common going into this game. Matter of fact, there are a bunch of teams that had something in common with the Chiefs going into this game. They were all winless. Nada, yet on the win side. Chiefs 22-9 over the hapless Giants. How many more games before Brian Daboll is no longer employed? I don't know. I don't wish him to be unemployed, but you got to perform, right? I don't know anything else about this game other than I guess Travis Kelce and Andy Reid for the second game in a row. They got into a little ta-di-ta on the sidelines. Travis got in his face. Andy said, "Oh, I love his passion." Yeah, at some point he'll still love his passion, but you're gonna tell him, "Get the hell out of my face, dude. You're playing. I'm coaching. Let's rock and roll." You know. And then the Lions-Ravens last night, 38-30. Derrick Henry fumbled the ball for the 3rd game in a row, the 2nd time this year in the 4th quarter. Now, Derrick Henry has been very reliable. This is only the second time he's fumbled. Let's see, how's this go? In his previous 136 games, he's only fumbled the ball twice in the 4th quarter. Do I have any other stats on that game? I don't think I do, other than the Lions win. Well, that takes the Ravens, I believe. The Ravens, are they now 1-2? I think they're 1-2 on the year. So 22 minutes, 13 seconds, 14, 15. Here we go. We're going to end it right now. Thanks for watching. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, but they cut it short. So you figure it out. Let me know what you think. America, land of the free because of the brave. Stay focused, America. Billy Bob, peace.